Welcome back to TVR 20, 21, 22, forever, I don't know. So, last time we left it at getting the harmonic damper off the crank, getting the cover off, we were flying. But now it gets technical, you see, because the Speed 6 doesn't have any timing marks. So we need to time the engine when we put it all back together. But first of all, I want to find top dead centre. And we're going to do that in a technical way, not just screw down the ball. You can get it rough, but yeah. Before we take it all apart, because we know the engine runs correctly, let's see if we can sort of get the measuring down and, you know, that all looks good first. So come hither, and I'll show you how far I've got. So here's our setup. My dear lady wife, my fantastic wife, has made this lovely timing disc on her laser cutter. I've made this pointer and attached it to the block. So as we turn the engine over, you see that will point to the time. But we need to find top dead centre, so cut this bit of iron for the magnet to go on for our dial gauge, and then we put the dial gauge down there with an extension and measure top dead centre. But there's something else important as well. Just one step after another. That dial gauge needs to be completely perpendicular to the bore. So the cylinder's going up like that, the dial gauge needs to be the same. So if it's over at an angle, you know, we're talking like 2 decimal places of a millimetre here. So in aid of doing that, what I've done, I've massacred a spark plug. The centre bore of that is just about right to drill out to 7mm and then tap to M8. I've then put an M8 bolt down it because the spark plug itself is too big a hole for the dial gauge, and now I'm just going to stick that in the lathe and drill down the middle to give me a perfect guide, whoop, for the dial gauge. And there we go. Then we should be able to find TDC, mark TDC on the wheel, and then finally take it all to bits, I guess. And then find if there's actually anything wrong with the head or the end, I don't know, there's like a gremlin playing drums or something inside it. See you in a second. Oh, what? Is it working? I'm having camera problems. Anyway, there we go. So it's a massacred spark plug with an M8 bolt down the middle with a hole drilled in it. Highly technical, but there's a little tight, just enough play there to make it easy, and that should give us, matron, that should give us a better idea of whether we're going dead straight. It's going to be fun to get it in, but I guess just a magnet and then carefully with a spark plug spanner. So that is the next step now. That's a lot of things. We'll just put timing marks on engines, people, honestly. I did just think as well, just to say, by the way, we're on cylinder number 1, just in case. The threads. You may have noticed the spark plug spanner stayed down there. That was by design, because I'm a genius. No, not a genius. I just taped the I taped it on. It's easier, isn't it? Now, I don't really know where we can put you. There we were. Roughly. Yeah, see, we're too. No, that's fine. That's fine. Okay. The scraping is the mark on the. Oh, that's compression stroke. We want to go on induction stroke apparently, which we're coming round to now. So both the valves on cylinder 1 are sort of knock-kneed, as it were, from the manual, or from the lovely chap on piston heads. Anyway, oh. Definitely a bit more compression with that. Oh, here we go. Right. Oh, you know what we should have done? Let me go backwards a minute. Oh, I'm having to work around you, so please do excuse the grunting. I just want to zero it when we're off piston. There we go. Go on the nut. Okay. There we go. So that was our highest point there. There we go. So we are 2 thou. Ah, too far. But oh my god, this is the only thing I don't like about the Weira stuff, is the change of direction is very good because it doesn't accidentally knock on stuff, but it actually makes it very hard to do it, to change the direction. I mean, that's come undone. So there's an M16 by 2mm pitch nut in the end of the crank, which you can use for turning over. I just undid it, which was a bit silly, wasn't it? But so you get the idea. So essentially, there's a very slight moment of dwell. So the piston comes up, sits, and then it starts to go down. And your TDC is basically the very, very top moment there. I'll probably think of a better way to describe it, which I might put down here or in voiceover, like that. But I need to move it out of the way so I can get that right. But what we're going to do is then basically mark, it doesn't matter what really our timing disc says as such, we're going to mark what TDC actually is. So whether that's actually, I don't know, 104 or whatever, it just makes it a bit harder to then figure out where the valves should be opening and stuff, but it doesn't matter. Because I've notched the timing disc essentially. I could show you. The timing disc is notched around the Woodruff key. I can't show you because I've taken the marker off, but you'll see at the end. I'll put it all out and I'll put all the tools and stuff you need. But let's find TDC and bring you back. I'm back. Are you on? If I change clothes, I don't know. Now, this has been a real learning curve. I've never done this sort of thing with an engine before. I've had to try it lots of times first, even just to make sure I understand all of it, which is what I'm going to try and explain it now, and I haven't shown you live. Here we are. So here we are. So we were on power stroke, essentially top dead centre is what we want to measure. Now, that means we are just coming up to inlet being open and exhaust closed, not on compression stroke. And we want to find TDC. So we've got our dial gauge going down the bore. We've made a guide in there from that dead spark plug to make sure the rod goes perpendicular through. I've cut a piece of steel and bolted it on over there to hold the dial gauge in exactly the right place. We've then got our pointer here that can't move, our timing wheel here, and we've been rolling the engine over. Now what you want to do is roll it over with the valves in that position until you get the highest number on there, so the highest amount of lift. Then you'll see it just dwell and then start to go down. On that highest number, zero your gauge. Okay? Now you want to count 10, well, you want to count a number backwards and forwards either side of that mark, but an exact number. So 0.1 mil, 0.2 mil, that's what I did. So I went either side, and you see I've got a little marker at the sides. And then you want to take the exact middle between those two, just using the markers there, mark that. That is top dead centre. That's accounting for dwell either side. I've now rolled it over 5 times since, and we still have exactly coming back to 0 on that mark, which means I'm happy that is top dead centre. And breathe. Now, you can't remove the wheel after that. You may have gone, you haven't taken anything else off down the bottom. We're not going to. We were happy with all of that. We inspected all of our pumps and things down there, if you remember last time. Now, if you haven't done that, do all of that first, because, as you see, all of that is now behind the timing wheel. Once you've done that, you don't want to take the timing wheel off or the pointer off. The reason I've done a pointer rather than a piece of wire is I'm extremely clumsy, and I'll bend the wire and ruin everything. No, the wire's probably better, because you can, if you don't end up on a perfect point, if you don't end up on a point, you can move the wire over slightly. I could have done with a slightly thinner white pen, but yeah, I'm happy with that. I know exactly what mark that's on, which means we can carry on the process. Now, if we want to set it back to the exact same timing, we could now measure the fully open part of the inlet and exhaust valves. You can tell, can't you, that I'm really having to think about what I'm saying. And to do that, essentially we would put this onto the inlet valve cap and same on the exhaust, and measure at what point that is fully open, at what number of degrees on there. That is valve timing. But to do that, I need a bent pointer on there, because you can't, the cam gets in the way. So we're going to retime it when it all goes back together. So I think we can carry on with this assembly now. So the marks we're going to make at this point, we're going to mark chain to wheel, and then we'll do a inlet and exhaust mark on these as well, so we know it all goes back on in the same orientation. We can then undo these. That can come off there. I think we'll have a proper look at the half-time bearing. It looks really good. I'll speak to wherever I take the head to, probably Powers, but apparently there's some really good shops in Milton Keynes. I don't know, probably Powers. That's the chain off. We can then take the cams out and take the head off. Exciting, 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 exciting. Let's get on with it. Sorry about this random pipe. It's not laziness, I swear. It's more I have to stretch it to get it on. Fat load of good that did. There's a bit of red paint on one of those. I guess that's where they tightened it up. If it did have a factory rebuild, you know, they did a shit job of it, didn't they? Yeah. So, first things we'll get off, because I think it's probably going to fall off, is the tensioner and that. And more things that speak of the low mileage of this. Look, there is absolute. You can see the marks on there, but you can't even feel those with your finger. What do you reckon? Never to go back together? Is that? Wheels of steel. And there we have some camshafts. So now it's just, if you watch Wheeler Dealers, you know to go basically out from the centre, or in from the out I suppose, undoing things evenly like that so you don't bend or warp anything. And remember, we're going to be coming out with those, with any luck. Does anyone else reckon that's looking pretty heavy now, isn't it, right? So, you know I said this has been rebuilt before? Well, I don't know. They might have put these on when they built it. So we've got, you can see on there 2, yep, 4, 4, 6, 6, 8, 8, all good so far, 10, 10, 12, 12, 11, 14. Oh, you know. And then we have on here, everything's correct until 13, 13. Actually, maybe we can just put that down to poor scribing. I think it might be a 14, just sort of looks like an 11. Is the English language different in Blackpool? Someone did once describe it to me, I don't know if it still is the case, that it was the minimum wage capital of the UK. I don't know. So this is our exhaust cam. And we've definitely got, there's some scoring on a couple of the journals. That one you can definitely feel with your nail. I don't know whether that's, I'm not 100% if that's long for this world or not. See, it's hard to tell on the lobe. They don't look overtly worn, and there's no, to me anyway, damaged looking lobes. The way to tell would be to know there's that mark you can really feel with your nail. Would be to put a dial gauge on that you know exactly, you can measure the lift on each one. So that's exhaust. And then that is our inlet cam. Again, there's no, this one's better, definitely. Part number E1607 OA268 CR 1970. Oh no, that's just a piece of oil, that's fine. And again, they've got a more pronounced lip on one side, but I don't know if that's just how they are from the factory. So they're those. Let's just give those a, actually no, we want an oily sheen on them, don't we, because they won't rust whilst out and about. I don't know, scrap anyway for all I know. It's positive, isn't it, Peter? Come on, positivity. Sing positivity. Sing positivity. Or something like that. I just want to mark these also different part numbers. Oh yeah, 6025 6107. See, what I was hoping putting these together, there's a flat on there. I was hoping that would be for a cam timing tool, but they certainly don't line up they don't line up at all on any top dead centres. So they look right. This wasn't the bit I thought that we'd have problems with. We're going to look at the finger followers in a second, and then if not that, maybe the valve guides. Okay. Right. Back to the block. Are you all enjoying these videos? If you are, could I ask you to send me a decent bloody ratchet to just just to pop a little like and comment and a subscription, and you know, all that stuff. This thing is going to go flying in the bin. That, if you wouldn't mind. Oh my god! Oh! Oh! That's tight. Like, comment, subscribe. That's what I'm trying to say anyway. Whilst removing the head from the car. Wow! Oh! Oh! The slanted nature of it makes it so much easier. Not. Oh! 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 Plus of being capped is that they do hold. Oh, they hold the tool quite well. No, there's nothing mechanical holding the engine together. Yes! Off! There we go. Doesn't take that, yeah, I'm going to hit it hard. This is going to be heavy. Do I need to acquire myself a Sophie? She's very ill at the moment. So it'd be obviously very rude to ask her to come into a cold garage and take the head off a stupid engine, wouldn't it? Or do we just man up? Could get the engine crane, but not doing that. It's way too much effort. Just take the weight a little bit round. There we go. What's that? I've got all the washers. Oh, I forgot the engine mounts in the way. I knew there was something else. People watching this who know these guys are going, what a tit. What an absolute tit. That manifold goes underneath the engine mount. What a silly sausage. I might just have a little think about that. How do I do that? Can I just take this manifold off? This one might actually come off quite easily. Report back in a minute. Pays to RTFM, didn't it? Read the flipping manual. Good memento. I seem to have hung my chair. Sorry, mate. No chairs were harmed in the making of this film. Okay, my oversight with the exhaust manifold, even though it's staring me straight in the face, is a big one, because this is a faff. Sorry, the heater's on. So, I've loosened off this manifold, which is actually quite easy if you make one of these. It's a very long 6mm with a cut down head, because it means you can get into this little gap and undo bolts, so that's not too bad. Then from the top with a 10mm Allen key for that, get those two, and then the 10mm Allen key underneath is made 1,000 times easier with that manifold being loose. Then we just have to support the engine, and then we can lift the head off. I would have said all of this was actually quite straightforward until this bit, which is a bit of a faff. So the exhaust manifolds, yeah, annoying, very annoying, especially when you think you're on the home straight and you're all excited, and then you find that. Oh well, don't moan, get on with it. Well, I think everything's loose. Oh, look at that now. Engine mount. Oh my god! Oh. That was the heaviest thing in the world. Hello, engine. Do you want to see my engine? I'm all dirty. So we can still see cross hatching everywhere. A little build up of very soft material at the very, very top. Pistons look very clean. That one's got a bit more carbon build up than the rest. Wise. I don't see any horror. Cross hatching still visible. So really we need to turn it over and just have a look down the balls of the other ones. Let's have a look. The head here where lighting exists. No horribleness. Don't fall on me. Head gasket looks in very good condition. Bloody hell. I'm really annoyed if everything's fine. There's some carbon build-up on the firing rings, but I think that's just detritus. Cool, it'll go again, wouldn't it? No, don't worry, it won't go again. Be war trophy. There we go. War trophy. So, now again, we're all looking hopeful as far as we've got no damage, which is nice. What could be causing that noise though is basically the valve being loose in the valve guide. That's what but at this point, I'm hoping for at this point. But let's just get a socket, turn that engine over, and just check the bores properly. I'll check them with the camera, but it's obviously only so good you can get a camera. So what you're looking for here, sports fans, is plenty of evidence of the cross hatching. Not really. It's a great camera view, isn't it? Don't want really polished bores. We want no signs of big, thick. That's oil. That's fine. Really. No signs of scratches running down the bores. See, there's some really light marks there, but you can nearly rub them out with a glove finger. So, bottom end. Oh. Is that normal? So there should be some movement in the piston ring. I don't know. I mean, if they all do it, I'm going to say that's normal. I would have thought if that wasn't so there's a bit of play, I don't know if you can see there. Now obviously there should be some, because as an engine heats up it expands. I mean, look how fresh. Let's just clean that. I bet that comes up perfectly. Look at that. But how much play should there be there? A bit more carbon in that one. I would have thought that should be a tighter fit, but right, we'll have to investigate that. If you know how much play there should be in the pistons when they're cold in there, then please tell me. But they all do it and there's no signs of piston slap, so let's do a little video to someone. Okay, so we're tentative that it's either perfectly good or fucking ruined, or naffing ruined. We shall see. We shall see. Oh, I can see coolant in the waterways. Obviously cleaning this off is going to be fun. But let's go have a look at the head, I think. It's my chaos. Again, everything looks fine. What we're hoping for, and I've got to be honest, I can move those springs and valves around a lot in that head. And actually, I think I can nearly hit the casting there. But I don't know how much is how much wear is okay. So what we're going to do first, we're going to take out all the tappets. Not tappets, we're going to take out all of our little spacers or shims, and I'm going to just insert them in a piece of polystyrene. Now it may not make any difference really, because once it's been machined we'll obviously have to go through that whole exercise again, but I guess we can start with a base setting. Got to start with something, haven't you? I don't know, all the engine people will tell me that's wrong and you start with X. Now we're not being too insane with cleanliness and such at the moment, because obviously it's going to be cleaned, well, probably all the way through the process, but and I've run out of gloves, which is really quite annoying. I don't like getting oily fingers, but there we are. Woe is me, eh? Woe is me. This piece of tape is defeating me. So the order is, I'll get rid of all the loose stuff first. Go in there. Go in. I'm telling you, go in. Thank you. Then I think we will have to take the studs out, and I'm guessing these little things need to come out. A bit weird because they're all different heights. But I don't really know what they were. I'm guessing they might have been squashed down better when the caps were on. No, don't fall through. So far, this method's working. Ask me by the end how it's gone. But like I say, I'm not really sure this matters anyway. Nope, see, it's gone wrong already. Oh dear. Ugh. Just stay. I should have got something squishier, maybe. Oh. I've robbed my old dial gauge base of a home in doing this as well. Thing. I hope it'll forgive me. No. I mean, the polystyrene idea is kind of working. I have to phone. I think I will. I'll phone Powers first, and then hopefully they don't mind sending them a video of that play in the top of the piston. I mean, they'll probably tell me it's all fucked and it's full engine rebuild, but judging on their reputation, I think if they did tell me that, it's probably true. But I would have thought if it was too much play, we would have had loads of piston slap and the cylinders would be all scored. But oh, I don't know. It's all just guesswork. I've lost one. No! Piss. It was all going so well. Well, at least I haven't got to worry about dropping it into the engine.